Alright, hello everyone, welcome back to the stream. I'm Martin Wenzel, trying to figure out my sound. Every time I do a stream, everything seems to like reset, nothing works the way it was last time. Hey Creepy Kirk, hey Rocket Gaming, hey Cody, hey Tyler, hey Jules. Yeah, sorry we're running a little late. Had to do a diaper change and then just trying to figure out OBS. Everything decides to reset during the week. I don't know why. Just everything decides to start up and change. So, you know, alright. So we are here doing... What flight is this? This is going to be World Tour Leg 120. And we're at Minsk National Airport, if I can say it right. Minsk, Belarus. And we're going to be flying to Sheremetyevo. I'm trying to say these names. Sheremetyevo Alexander S. Pushkin International Airport in Khimki, Moscow Oblast, Russia. So we're flying to Moscow. Minsk to Moscow tonight. Flight's based on Aeroflot 1831, flown using an Airbus A320. We'll be using FlyByWire's A32NX mod with the Aeroflot livery created by Rithvik. Alpha Indy Group traffic, providing the other traffic around us, the AI traffic around, and Bijan Hibashi's 4-season pack for all the wonderful seasonal trees. And we don't have snow today. What do I suck at? Oh, suck at saying things. Yeah, the fact that I'm even awake, I can't. I'm just falling apart lately. And then trying to get anything to work with the stream is a hassle. I'm surprised we even have a microphone or OBS working at all. My computer just wants to kill any chance of me being able to do anything every time I want to do anything. Works all during the week when I'm not trying to stream, and then as soon as I want to stream, everything falls apart. So, that's the story of my life. Alright, we got this nice chrome Aeroflot look today. And we are at a freeware Minsk airport. We got a little bit of the terminal modeled here. A number of Belavia planes around us. That's the plane we flew last flight, except we had the World of Tanks livery. What are you doing a podcast of? What's your podcast going to have on it? Sean, currently flying from Marrakesh to Paris. I probably can. Let me check. Let me see. I don't know if I can see you on Volanta. I probably can. I don't know where you are, though. Do I have... I don't think I have you as a friend. Added as a friend yet. Not on purpose, though. Just haven't done it. Yeah, I don't know where you're... I just haven't added you. I just don't have you as a... I don't have any friends. I think I only have Creepy Kirk added on Volanta. So let me look for you once we're up in the air, and I'll add you so I can see that. Interviews about what, though? Like, what's the kind of the thrust for it? That's interesting. Do I have you? Maybe I do. Let's see, who do I got? Friends, Creepy Kirk, and Pilot 1209. So that might be you, yeah. Alright, let's get inside the plane. Let's get it started. I'm trying to get my microphone settings set a little different, but I'm not having any luck. I also have really crappy sound set up in this room. It's like that tinny, echoey. It's annoying me. Hey, Mika, welcome. No, I don't have to be friends with you to see you, but I don't know where you are. It doesn't, like, I have to, like, try to find you on the map, and there's 100 different planes. So it's kind of hard to just find you at a moment's notice. If I was your friend, it'd probably just show me. Hey, Mini Miner, welcome. Thanks for showing up, guys. Yeah, yeah, I only got up like an hour ago. So, still trying to get things going. We're on the development version of the FlyByWire A32NX. Because experimental, obviously, is not the most stable. Stable's also not the most stable either. Alright, so we got it from SimBrief. Go to our operational flight plan. We need 5,604 kilos of fuel. It's going to take 8 minutes. The fuel, that's coming on board. Do our safety checks. Our parking brake is on. Flaps and ground spoilers are retracted. Engine ignition is normal mode. Master switch 1 and 2 are off for the engine. Up here, I want to make sure our thrusters are at idle. Oh, that's cool. Well, yeah, thanks for everyone coming in. We got a little bit of a crowd. I mean, for my standards. So if you're if you're watching on Twitch or YouTube, forgive me for my stumbling over my words. I'm half asleep. You know, I work 48 hours in the last 4 days, and you know, as Cody Rock Gaming will say, it's like, hey, suck it up. But I don't know. It's not the problem with the work. It's coming home and then sleeping, and then I wake up and it's worse than I don't know. I don't feel tired after work. I feel tired after sleeping. All right, so we got thrusters. Whoops, wrong camera. Turn the brightness up on the displays while we're right here. Okay, we'll make sure our landing gear is down. Anti-skid nose wheel steering is on. And then to our top panel, make sure the wipers are off. Hey, Classic Evil, thanks for the raid. How are you doing? How was the stream? I saw you were playing Arma. Awesome. What about mine? I can't. Yeah, I can't. Like your profile pictures show up as a tiny little circle, so I can't really see it, and I can't click on you guys to like go to your profiles or anything. You can follow me on Spotify? Weird. I don't know what picture I have on Spotify. I didn't know I had a picture. Oh, lighting's just different. I got terrible lighting in this room, even though I got like fancy, you know, lights. I suck at setting everything up. Alright, let's get the battery switches on. Let's turn off the co-pilot so she doesn't ask for pushback before we need it. Battery 1 and 2 on. External power on. Strobe to auto. Crew oxygen supply, ground control on. Nav 1, 3, and 2. VAPU fire test. Yeah, eventually one of these days I'll probably turn off ATC. It's not even worth it, but I kind of like hearing the chatter, but then I don't like hearing the chatter when it just spams and does stupid stuff. I turned the nav and logo lights on, and I need to check my checklist because it's been a while. It's been, what, 5 days since I last flew? That's how I talk. I can hear myself and it's annoying. Alright, let's get the passengers coming on board through the FMS. And we do have sound effects now. I'm only using the sound effects for the passenger ambience, which you can find right here. Audio. I'm just using the passenger ambience and the boarding music. I'm not using the announcements since I'm using PAC-X. And if we have Aeroflot boarding music, I will turn that off too. I really hate this scroll wheel stuff because it never... I know Creepy Kirk has all his stuff set up on a Stream Deck. I can't afford to buy a Stream Deck. I just can't justify it. Just turn on live ATC from an airport near where you're flying. Oh, like just have, you know, just get the chatter. Yeah, that'd be something to do. I'll have to do that. Jules McCoy, it's me smiling. So her profile picture, I can kind of see that. It's just hard to see details. Smiling while I'm sitting in a chair with my bedroom reflecting on the mirror, which is in the background, and I'm wearing a black top, black belt, plaid skirt with petticoats, and red high heels. John Delaney, where can I go to find commercial flight ideas? You can go to, what is it, Flight Radar 24, and you can go there and you can see real flights that are happening right now. Flight Aware. You can do flights from or flights to, so there's two different websites. Flights from, you can click on an airport and it'll show you all the flights leaving that airport, going to where they go. There's so many different ideas. And then if you want to, you can join a virtual airline, Creepy Kirk, and I'm looking at this airline. It's Walker Air Transport. They look pretty cool. And so that would give you actually kind of career mode almost, in a sense. And it's free versus something like On Air. What is that called? On Air. On Air Company. You could do that, but that's you have to pay for that. Lots of different things. Or you can do what I'm doing. You just do like a world tour, and so then you always have an idea. Like, I need to get to this point next. Yeah, I've been using Flight Radar 24 lately, but I use Flight From. I use Flight Aware. I kind of mix them all up to figure out my flights. And I've been spending like way too much time the last few days planning out all my flights through the Caribbean on this world tour. So I'm not having to bounce back and forth. Yeah, Sim Toolkit Pro. Oh, you're part of Walker Air Transport too, Cody. Cool. Alright, let's see. Let's continue on. We didn't actually get the passengers coming on board, so... Weights and balances. Send the request. Start boarding. 165 passenger coming on. I want to set it to realistic speed, though. And so you can actually hear the passengers. You also hear that plane next to us with its loud engine. But this is all coming from the FlyByWire A32NX. This is not with Pack X right now. I am going to start Pack X as well, just to keep track, and if there's any like interesting, you know, like a unruly passenger, that kind of stuff. Do I have boarding music? I do have boarding music, so we're going to turn off. I'm going to turn off the... The aircraft is Wi-Fi. Now we'll have an in-flight entertainment. Okay. I'm going to turn off the boarding music. We do have boarding music through Pack X. That is a loud plane next to us. This is so loud inside the plane. What is that? What is that noise? You hear that? Is that because I have the cargo door and cabin door open? Huh, okay, they must have added some more. They must have... Yeah, it's amazing. There's just so many extra things. That's the thing, they're updating it all the time now, and suddenly you're like, what is that new sound that I'm hearing? Alright, let's get the Ifr clearance. Let's get this thing on the road. Of course, they're not going to give me a... There it is.
Minsk ground aerofloat 1831 Ifr to Sheremetyevo, ready to copy.
Airfloat 1831 is cleared to Sheremetyevo Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 13 right, climb, and maintain 13,000 feet. Departure frequency is 119.125, squawk 4314.
No, I haven't had the time to watch. Did you have a video about that? Arresting an ex-cop.
131 acknowledge. Last transmission.
Aeroflot 1831 cleared to Sheremetyevo Airport as filed. Takeoff runway 13 right climb and maintain 13,000.
I was gonna say, you're gonna get your CDL. Why would you want to do that? But I suppose being a truck driver is a little less stressful and actually probably pays slightly more than being a police officer.
Ground on 121.575. Good day.
Alright. Yeah, it's just all these weird sounds.
Met to airport information Sierra 0800 Zulu.
Alright, just pulling in the ATIS. I want to get our
Tree. Sky
UNH here.
Clear. Temperature -5. Dew point 10. QNH tree 0.48. Visual runway 13 right in use. Landing and departing.
What is that noise? Yeah, it's fun. You're just never home if you're not doing local. And if you're doing local, you're probably never home either. Like, you're home like I am. Like, you get home and you just go to sleep. But at least I'm home a little bit more than being over the road. But I do miss being over the road. Going somewhere. Not having to move as much. Just destroying my knee right now. Alright. Where were we? Let's get into the flight computer. Go to our init page. To that. Need to open my flight plan is what I need to do. Alright, our alternate is uniform. Bravo Charlie. Flight number 1831. Cost index 49.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. I would love to welcome you aboard our flight.
Cruise,
When you
flight
find
level
the seat, use
390.
the door to place your larger carry-on items in the overhead bins and smaller items underneath the seat in front of you. Unless you're in the front row, please place all of your items in the overhead bin.
Don't mind you not being home. Yeah, you can work it out. I mean, again, you can make good money doing it. Just, I don't know. I need to get out. I'm still trying to figure out what I'm going to do once I grow up.
As a courtesy to other passengers. Also be sure that the aisle is clear and sit down so that way other passengers can get by you.
Alright, let's do our flight plan. We're taking off. What did they give us for runway? 13 right, so we'll get that in right away.
Make sure that you are able and willing to perform these actions. If you're not, please let a flight attendant know so that way you can be reseated. Now's the time to get out
All these
any
weird
last-minute
sounds
text
coming from the
messages
plane. I
you
don't
receive, but
know
we
what
ask
those
that once
are.
you depart from the gate, you put away any laptops or tablets. Thank you and welcome aboard.
Alright, so we got Agnef in there already because I put the standard instrument departure. I actually put the wrong one, but not a big deal. I think they must have updated the air rack cycle already. We're gonna put in, whoops, never mind, what am I doing? Go to Agnef. What? What am I doing? What's going on here? What is going on? What did I do? Okay, we lost Agnef. Okay, Agnef. Oh, yeah. There we go. Clear the discontinuity. Click on Agnef. Hit Airways. Then put in the November 869 for our airway. Hopefully they'll show up. Take that to lap key. What is going on here? Alright, whatever. Sometimes airways don't want to. They kind of. FMS is just taking forever today. Alright, so take airway Lima 999 to Amcuck. Just me, or is everything just not working tonight? I wouldn't be surprised if the sim crashes here. Pop. Insert. And we're going to come in on... Let's see. Arrival is going to be... Runway 24 left. So we'll do ILS 24 left. Standard terminal approach is Depop 3 Echo. And we'll do Kesvu for our VIA.
We're ready to go when you are.
Alright, we'll go to our radio page. Put in our final information for Moscow. Approaches are going to be ILS 24 left. We got ILS is 110.5. We also have a few ADFs. Those frequencies in. And I'm looking for a VOR, but I don't see a VOR. Thing. We'll put the ILS in. That automatically goes in though, but we'll put it in anyway. 110.5, and that will fill in later. Go back to our weights and balances page to see if all of our passengers are on board yet. Still got to do 32 more passengers for our first class or whatever, business class. Once they're on, we'll be able to do our performance page, or our NIT2 page, actually. We have our barometric reference. Let's close the cockpit door. Now you can't hear the... We can still hear the music. If we were using the A32NX music, we wouldn't be able to hear it as well. But we don't hear the passenger ambience unless we go into the back of the plane. See? That's pretty cool. You see the PACX aircraft configuration mod on flightsim.to? Absolutely not. I have not. I can barely, like I said, I can barely get the stream off the ground on time. I'll have to check that out overnight if I don't fall asleep. I just feel terrible. Alright, we don't need that. Or don't need the nav graphs. Didn't PACX already have that? Oh yeah, it is all just a single configuration. I feel like you can create them. I know self-loading cargo, you can create different layouts. I've never paid attention to that, I guess, with PACX. Alright, we have our alignment. EFIS is ARC and 10. Flight directors are both on. And let's start the APU. Tupolev Tu-114. Yeah, I've never flown those, but I think in X-Plane, both X-Plane and Microsoft Flight Simulator, it's like they're only, you know, like remodels from FSX or something. There's not been a really good, or at least I've not paid for one. Alright, crew oxygen supply is on. Fuel pumps are on. Air conditioning on. Navigation lights are on. And we do have a complete. We'll get rid of the external power. Okay. Super speed jetway there.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome aboard Flight 1831 with service to Sheremetyevo. Our flight time will be roughly 1 hour and 30 minutes. Now that the cabin door is closed, please make sure that all devices are in airplane mode and your large devices are now shut down and stowed. Please fasten your seatbelt and make sure that all tray tables and seat backs are in a full upright and locked position for departure. Cabin crew, prepare cabin for departure.
Alright, what was our center of gravity here? Center of gravity... I'm so confused. 24.9. 24.9, we need to be at about... say 1.6 on the trim. If I could put this in right. Get our V speeds. Transition altitude is 1,000, I think. Yep, 1,000 feet. Can't control my hand right now. That's all we need. James Clark, El Bozo ratio. I don't know what that means. El Bozo ratio? Maybe, yeah, I don't know. Okay, everything is ready to go, so we can turn on our beacon light and get our pushback started. On runway 31, no, 13 left, right? Correct. 13 right, okay. It's the only runway we have, actually. Back, pre-plan the pushback. That's about.
Cockpit to ground.
This is ground. Stand by.
Hopefully my safety video works, but that was something I was having trouble with. For some reason the sound, I can't get the sound to work. Just every little thing I want to do doesn't work properly.
Okay, sir. The bypass pin is installed. All doors and hatches closed and all ground equipment is removed.
The Parking brakes are set. You may lift.
Parking brake set. Lifting the aircraft.
We are cleared for start and push.
Okay, cleared for push start. Please release parking brake.
I didn't see them lift the aircraft at all.
Parking brakes are released.
Commencing pushback. You can start the engines in sequence.
It will start in the sequence.
Alright, starting engine 1. Or engine 2. Starting engine 2.
Ladies and gentlemen, please direct your attention to the screen for an important safety demonstration. Thank you for flying with us.
Дамы и господа, выполняя полет на самолете Ил-96 в соответствии с международными правилами, предлагаем вам ознакомиться с аварийно-спасательным оборудованием самолета. Ladies and gentlemen, we are flying on board of the plane Ил-96 in accordance with international regulations. We would like you to be familiar with.
Turn the ignition to start. That would help.
Дамы и господа, добро пожаловать на борт самолета авиакомпании «Аэрофлот Российские авиалинии», участника международного альянса SkyTeam. Ваша безопасность и комфорт – основные приоритеты нашей авиакомпании. Пожалуйста, ознакомьтесь с правилами безопасности и аварийно-спасательным оборудованием нашего самолета. Ваша ручная кладь должна быть размещена на багажной полке или под сиденьем впереди стоящего кресла. Пожалуйста, не размещайте ручную кладь
Okay,
у
pushback
аварийных
completed.
выходов
Please
и
set your parking
проходах.
brake.
Parking brake set.
Parking brake set. Lowering aircraft.
Starting engine 1.
Все электронные
You may
устройства
disconnect.
должны быть выключены на
Okay,
время
sir.
руления,
Clear to
взлета
disconnect.
и
Pin has been
посадки
removed.
самолета.
See you at the side. Have a good flight.
Holding position waiting for the visual. Thank you and goodbye.
Мы просим вас воздержаться от курения на протяжении всего полета. Туалетные комнаты оборудованы детекторами дыма и сигнализацией. В случае разгерметизации кабины кислородные маски выбрасываются автоматически из верхних панелей. Потяните маску на себя, плотно прижмите маску к носу и рту, закрепите ее. Если вы путешествуете с ребенком, обеспечьте маской сначала себя, затем ребенка. Наш самолет имеет 10 аварийных выходов. Каждый выход обозначен световым табло. Обратите внимание на ближайший к вам выход. Он может быть расположен как впереди, так и позади вас. Светящиеся дорожки вдоль проходов указывают направление к выходам. Все выходы оборудованы автоматически надуваемыми трапами. На случай вынужденной посадки на воду трапы передних и хвостовых выходов могут использоваться в качестве спасательных плотов. Ваш спасательный жилет находится в центральном подлокотнике или под сиденьем вашего кресла. По указанию экипажа достаньте жилет из упаковки и наденьте через голову. Оберните тесьму вокруг талии, застегните впереди под жилетом и туго затяните. При покидании самолета надуйте жилет
Minsk
у
ground
выхода,
airfloat
дернув за
1831
красные
with tango ready
колпачки.
to taxi IFR. Airfloat 1831 taxi to and hold short of
Поддуть
runway
жилет
13
можно
right
через
using taxiway
клапаны.
alpha. Contact tower on 118.3 when ready.
В жилете имеется сигнальная лампочка, которая зажигается в воде. Для младенцев на
Taxi
борту
to and
нашего
hold short
самолета
runway 13
имеются
right
детские
using taxiway
спасательные
alpha
жилеты и
airfloat
люльки.
1831.
В случае аварийной посадки примите одну из рекомендуемых поз безопасности. Обратите внимание на безопасную позу для пассажира с младенцем. Ремни безопасности должны быть застегнуты после включения табло «Застегните ремни». Вставьте металлический наконечник в пряжку, туго затяните ремень. Чтобы отстегнуть ремень, поднимите крышку замка. Ремень безопасности для младенца мы предложим индивидуально. Рекомендуем вам оставлять ремни застегнутыми в течение всего полета. Обращаем ваше внимание, что на время взлета и посадки спинка вашего кресла должна быть в вертикальном положении, столик убран, ремни безопасности застегнуты. С дополнительной информацией вы можете ознакомиться в инструкции по безопасности.
Yeah, just the sound effects on this plane, the A32NX, now they sound so much different than they did even last stream. Of course, I think I have my headphones on, turned up a little higher. Yeah, and Alpha Indy group traffic suffers a little bit. The AI is not perfect because you see lots of go-arounds. Because of course the in-game ATC will clear you to take off or land, and there'll be a plane sitting on the runway as you're coming in. I don't know how many times we've been asked to go around at the last second because some AI plane's just sitting on the runway. We actually stopped there. That's actually where we were supposed to stop.
Minsk Tower Airflow 1831 ready for departure runway 13 right IFR to Sheremetyevo.
Aeroflot 1831, hold short runway 13 right. Traffic is EMB 195 on the runway. Belarus Avian 9048, contact ground on 121.575. Aeroflot 1831 QNH 30.48, when com traffic is Boeing 737 on final. Cleared for takeoff runway 13 right.
Cleared for takeoff runway 13 right Aeroflot 1831. .575 Belarus Avian 9048.
Alright, we're cleared for takeoff. We do have a plane on finals, so we can't take too long to get rolling. I think the reason it starts overturning is because I'm clicking with my mouse at the same time. It doesn't always Flight Simulator doesn't always grab the inputs if you are holding the mouse button down at the same time. Alright. P1 rotate. Positive rate, gear up.
Aeroflot 1831, contact Minsk Center on 119.125. Good day.
Going to 119.125 Aeroflot 1831.
Yep, first day of daylight time. Yeah, it was kind of funny at work because I'm working overnight, so our little computers said, oh, we're jumping ahead to 3 a.m. and so I lost an hour of work. Scheduled for 12 hours, but it only worked 11.
Aeroflot 1831 Minsk Center QNH 30.48 continue as planned. Aeroflot 2012 climb and maintain 12,000 feet. Prepare 7909er climb and maintain 12,000 feet.
So this is kind of annoying. Whenever you open the ATC window, it always goes back to the top now. I don't know what they do. Every time there's a little something.
100 feet. QNH 30.48. Minsk Center UTAIR 835 2,000 feet.
I think we had snow last time when we landed here.
Climb and maintain 12,000 feet, you dear 799er.
Secret to softer landings is make sure you have your speeds right. So if your approach speed is 120, I mean, you want to maintain that approach speed. It's your landing speed plus 5 miles or 5 knots, and you want to keep your rate of descent at about 3 degrees. And yeah, when you get the call outs when you're like 50, 40. But basically, I think about a 30, you want to do a little bit of a flare, not too much. I tend to do too much. Because if you do too much, then you'll just end up floating down the runway. And then you'll have to nose down, and that's when you'll get a harder landing anyway, just because you don't want to run out of runway. But basically, you want to aim for between like 200 and 300. That's good range. Clear weather, at least. Yeah, see how it doesn't goes all the way back up there.
Minsk Center, Aeroflot
Gentlemen, we are now
1831.
passing through 10,000
Request
feet.
flight level
You can now turn on your
230.
larger portable electronic devices.
No, that's fine. Well, it depends on if it's managing the speed properly. Because usually your landing speed is going to be like in the hundreds. For the Airbus, it's going to be around 120, 130, yeah, maybe 117 even. And sometimes the managed speed won't go down once you get there. If you put your flaps out, it should manage the speed down to like 170, but you will still need to slow your plane down further. So once you get into that final approach, it makes more sense to just kind of dial. And you can still do it through here, but you're doing it manually, like this, instead of with the orange dot. Oh, we have a range here. But,
2,100 feet. Interior 835, please expedite your descent 2,000 feet.
I don't know, I usually get off of managed. I mean, I manage it to a certain point, and then I just, because I like to come in as slow as I can on my approach. Obviously, you're not always allowed to if you're doing something like VAT Sim, or obviously in real life, air traffic control might want you to come in at a certain speed, and then you have to just deal with it because of other traffic, obviously behind you, and separation, all that. But in Sim, you can go as slow as you want. I usually try to get as slow as I can because then I'm not fighting my speed as I'm coming in on the landing. I'm already nice and ready to go. But yeah, it's a lot of practice. I mean, like I said, I've done.
Expedite your descent 2,000 feet.
Like, I stopped doing it on my descriptions for these World Tour flights, but if you were technically counting this is 100 leg 120 in Microsoft Flight Simulator, but I technically I started doing this World Tour thing back in X-Plane, and if you wanted to count it all the way through, I'm on flight 221 would be technically what I'm at now. So I've done 221 flights just doing this World Tour concept. And that doesn't count any other flights I've done. And so I have a ton of practice now landing with the 737 and the Airbus. Yeah, 190 knots. Well, it depends on what plane you're flying, Jules. I think... I'm not sure what plane would be going 190 knots. That might still be too fast, but, you know, with the bigger planes, the 747... You know, those you're going to be landing at a higher speed. That's why they need longer runways as well. Whereas, you know, with the Airbus, like this, you know, when you're in a small Cessna, you're landing at 60 to 70 knots. The Airbus, you're landing at 120. CRJ, you're landing about the same, I think. But, you know, 747, you're landing 150 plus, I think. So, depends on the size of your plane.
German cargo 577 heavy, please expedite your descent 7,700 feet. Airflow 1831 climb and maintain flight level 230.
Climb and maintain flight level 230 airfloat 1831.
Climb and maintain flight
Alright, we're
level
cruising at
230
flight level 390 today, so we're going to try to get that.
The flight crew has turned off the
Yes.
fast seatbelt
Minsk
sign.
Center,
Do not get up and
airfloat
move around the cabin.
1831.
However, we ask that
Request flight level
fasten
330.
of unexpected circumstances.
Airflow 1831 climb and maintain flight level 230. Expect flight level 330.
Climb and maintain flight level 230. Expect flight level 330 airfloat 1831.
German cargo 577 heavy, please expedite your descent 7,700 feet.
The scenery seems blurry to me, doesn't it? Or maybe not.
Interior 835, please expedite your descent 2,000 feet.
Yeah, I have two versions of the Aeroflot plane. I didn't realize it.
And maintain flight level 280.
And I had, like, I think I have one that's just a matte, or it's just white instead of the chrome silver. So that's the one I took for the screenshot for the thumbnail, but then I realized, it's like, wait a second, don't I have this nice chrome one? Gotta use the chrome one, or the silver one. I know that's what Tyler Creepy Kirk does. He's always using those chrome American Airlines one.
Climb and maintain flight level 260 airflow.
Yeah, see, it keeps bringing me back to the top of my ATC. We want another 6,000 feet to get to 39,000.
Minsk Center, airfloat 1831. Request flight level 390.
Airflow 1831 climb and maintain flight level 230. Expect flight level 390.
Volanta, let's see, what am I on with Volanta? Just Martin Wenzel, no space. Capital M, capital W.
German cargo 577 heavy, please expedite your descent 7,000.
So where are you, Sean? Oh, there you are. You're right over Bordeaux. Like I was kind of going, it's like, where would he be, kind of? Sean Delaney, 777, in the A330-900 going from Marrakesh to Paris.
Climb and maintain flight level 320, Belarus Avian 976.
Interior 835, please expedite your descent 2,000 feet.
I know I did. I'm not sure what flight that is. I've done a flight. Back before I started doing my world tour back in X-Plane, where I was just doing a lot of, you know, kind of random flights, trying to figure out exactly what you were asking, like what flights to do. You know, I did, like, sometimes I just did ops for Ryanair. I did a bunch of KLM ops, just bouncing around Europe and North Africa. And I know I flew into Marrakesh, and so I'm not sure which flight I did and where I flew from Marrakesh. Jules, I landed at the speed using a lot of airliners from the size of the A320 to the A380. Yeah, that's a little over speed. I'm not sure, like I said, I'm not sure what the A380 would call for, but definitely in the A320 you don't need to be going 190. That's actually a little too fast, I think. We didn't get clearance, did we? It's the annoying thing. It keeps going all the way to the top.
Airflow 1831 climb and maintain flight level 330.
Passenger seatbelt sign is off, so they're up and about. They are able to walk around if they need to. Let's see, how much time do we have on this flight? 51 minutes to go. So, it's kind of weird because when you put it into Microsoft Flight Simulator, it said the flight's going to be like 50 minutes. Hey, Tyler T! I've not been to the stream for a while. Do you plan on streaming? Ooh, we got another plane right there. Yeah, we got the traffic. Do you plan on streaming tomorrow, and if what? And if so, what time? Probably we'll be going an hour later than today. We'll be going 8:30 because we're gonna go to Monday night church. Same thing I did last week because I had Monday off. So I think that's what I'm probably gonna be doing. If I have Mondays off, I'll stream at like 8:30 because I'll go to 6:30 church on Monday night. Because I've been missing, we just haven't, it's kind of hard to go in the morning just because my schedule, I get up at like 4 in the afternoon and then I go to bed at 6 or 7 in the morning or 8 in the morning. And so if church is 8 o'clock on Sunday morning, I'm at the very end of my day, especially if I've worked a 12-hour shift right before it. I'm just not going to make it through. I'd like to be able to go to Bible study, go to church and then go to Bible study, but I can't make it to 10. I can't make it to 10, 11 o'clock in the morning. That's just a really long day on my schedule. So if I have Mondays off, and so I do have Monday off tomorrow. I do have it off, but we'll be going to church. Going to church at 6:30, so the stream will be pushed back an hour. It'll be at 8:30, and we'll be flying from Latvia because second flight of the night tonight we'll be going to Moscow to Riga, Latvia. So tomorrow night we'll be doing Latvia to Hungary, to Budapest, and then from Budapest to Frankfurt. I think we should be able to get both those flights in. We'll see. Jules has a train simulator. Yeah, I got a train simulator. I got a train sim world, I think. Which is really confusing because they have Train Sim World and Train Simulator, and then Steam always says, oh, we got Train Simulator 2022, which is the same as Train Simulator 2021. Nothing different. It's actually the same simulator. Whereas Train Sim World, they now have Train Sim World 2, and I definitely didn't play enough of those. Well, there you go, Tyler. Yeah, I'm quarter Hungarian. We'll be flying into Hungary. Yeah, we're gonna have a couple big, I don't know. I don't want to say they're bigger than anyone else because, I mean, Moscow is the capital of Russia, Riga is the capital of Latvia, Budapest is just the capital of Hungary, and then Frankfurt is not the capital of Germany, but is a major airport. So I definitely need to make sure all my stuff is ready for tomorrow's stream because I've kind of caught up on what I had ready, prepared. I've got all my flights planned out, or I've got like my arrival or departure and arrival airports planned out through flight like 208 now. Like I spent the last few days kind of planning my flights around the Caribbean and Central America, and attempting to not have to do. I don't want to shut up ATC here.
Climb and maintain flight level 380 Belarus.
Do that for now. Jules is half Latvian. Alright, well, today's gonna be your stream. Oh, you go every year. Awesome. That's awesome. Jules is just departed from Anchorage Station, Anchorage, Alaska, to Halifax Station, Halifax. Awesome. It's a long flight. Cross country. Yeah, so I got my flights planned through somewhere in the 200s, so... but I spent the last few days trying to figure out Central America and the Caribbean, and I really didn't want to, like, fly... Because this European tour, where we're at right now, I've got a lot of repeat airports because I didn't really plan it very well. So I wanted to make sure I didn't have to, like... I'm not against going to an airport again, but it does kind of add flights and make this tour take a little bit longer if you have to keep bouncing back to an airport and then back out. And so I was trying to figure out a way. It's like, how can I get to every country and just have to fly once? Just point to point to point and never go back. It's impossible, but I think I got it pretty good. And we're going to have a number of American flights. We're going to... Basically, I'm flying from Iceland. Iceland is going to be our last European stop, and then we're going to fly from Iceland over to Canada. Now, right now I have a plan for Montreal, but I might be able to go to Toronto. We'll see which one I go to. There's a little bit of flexibility, but... And that's the nice thing about once we get over to some of the bigger countries like Canada and America, a little bit more flexibility because there are a lot more airports and a lot that have a lot of destinations. You know, rivals and destination. So I'm going Iceland to Canada, and then from Canada to America. Right now I got Montreal to Chicago, which is a real-life flight I took. This was the last flight I've ever taken, actually, was Montreal to Chicago. No. Shanghai to Montreal, and then Montreal to Chicago. That's the last flight I've ever flown in real life. But I am debating if I want to make that a longer flight, if I want to go like Montreal or Toronto to somewhere else. And then wherever else I go, whatever the plan is. Right now it's Chicago. We're going to go Chicago down to Mexico City, and then Mexico City I think down to Colombia, and we're going to do South America, get all that knocked out basically. And then into Central America, then into the Caribbean. And then from the Caribbean, fly out to Miami, which is a main very easy destination. Miami, and then Miami up to Bermuda, Bermuda up to JFK, New York, and then JFK I'm flying cross country, and I'm debating if I want to go to San Francisco, where to go on the West Coast. Right now I have it scheduled for San Diego, but it might end up being Seattle, could be Los Angeles. I am debating if I want to fly over to Vancouver because there's a nice Vancouver freeware airport in the works. So I might put Vancouver, and then if I can fly from Vancouver down to Hawaii, I'll just do that. But we'll see. We'll see where I go on the West Coast, because then West Coast Airport will fly out to Hawaii, and then from Hawaii I got it going to Christmas Island first, and then I think then I'm gonna have to do a lot of planning to figure out how to bounce. I'm actually going to have to just look back at my X-Plane World Tour because I did do all these island hopping. I did do the whole Pacific Island hopping back when I first started this World Tour thing in X-Plane. I'll have to look at what I did. Yeah, that's why I kind of want to do San Diego, because it's got that awesome approach, and I've done LAX. I mean, LAX is cool too. It'd be cool to fly in there, but I've flown in there and out there. San Diego's really cool, that approach. I don't think it gets enough coverage. So that's what I have planned right now is San Diego, and then we'll fly out of San Diego to Hawaii. And then I'll have to spend the next few days. I'll probably spend way too much time planning out my Pacific flights, even though I probably won't fly those flights for a year here, if we maintain doing 4 flights a week. I think when it's all said and done, this world tour will probably take over 300 flights, maybe 300 flights. Pacific's going to be... Once we get over the Pacific, we'll probably only end up being able to put in 1 flight a night, because those flights will be 3-4 hours at least, some of them. Flying between French Polynesia and Tonga and Micronesia and American Samoa and Samoa. Did we get a... We should have gotten clearance. Oh, we got snow.
Airflow 233. 6, please expedite your climb flight level 360. Belarus
Oh yeah, they're all really fun flights. Like I said,
your climb flight level 360.
let's turn off this radio.
Airflow 2105. Please expedite your
Are you kidding me?
flight level 290.
Ah, it's like, no, you must hear us. You must listen to us. How do I think I go like that? Right? I know there's a way to just to make it that you don't have to hear them through using those 3 comms and everything. I always forget because when you do it via yeah.
Velocity 663. 7, please expedite your climb flight level 360. Airflow 233. Airflow 233. 6, Airflow 233.
There's a way because because when you use FlySim, I don't turn off the ATC always, but I don't know. Yeah, Creepy, I did. Yeah, Tyler, or well, I'll call you Creepy Kirk because we got Tyler T. Creepy Kirk is also a Tyler, so. But yeah, I did all those flights in X-Plane when I first started. I started my world tour in X-Plane. I started this whole world tour concept. I was in New Zealand, and I bounced up all the way through the Pacific, Palau, Marianas, Tonga, Fiji. I think I got French Polynesia. I want to say, actually, I probably didn't get over to Samoa and everything. I didn't get that far east. So I was going to pick those up later, I guess. But it'll be really nice doing it again and see what it looks like here in Flight Simulator. Every 2 years I fly to Riga via Manchester using Virgin Atlantic and Air Baltic. Cool. Yeah, basically my flight history, my real life flight history is I did a flight Milwaukee to Phoenix, and then Phoenix back to Milwaukee, back in college we had a band tour, our college band, Southwest band tour. We flew into Phoenix and then we drove over to Los Angeles and San Diego and Las Vegas, and then I think we went back to Phoenix for the flight, if I'm not mistaken. I can't remember the end of that tour. I can't remember it. I can remember parts of the tour. I can remember flying into Phoenix, but I don't remember flying home. So I don't know what we did. I know we didn't drive. And then after that, I flew to China. It's just been flying to China. Now, I think the first time I flew to China, I flew direct to Beijing because I had training in Beijing. So it was Chicago to Beijing. I think the first time was a direct flight. And I think it might have been United Airlines. Chicago to Beijing. And then when I got assigned to school over there, I was assigned down in Lingan, which is down in Hangzhou, which is southwest of Shanghai. And they put me on a train, so I had to take a train, like a sleeper train, down to, not one of the fast bullet trains either. It's still faster than most American trains, but it was a slower Chinese train, sleeper berths and everything, so that was kind of interesting. And then when I finished that contract, when I finished that little job, I actually went back up to Beijing and spent a week with a few people we had met during training, a few Chinese people, stayed there with them. And then I remember the last day, it's like my flight was I don't remember when my flight was, but I had to get to Beijing airport. And the people we were staying with, they're like, oh yeah, we'll get you there. And then like morning's ticking by and it's like, we need to go. And they're like, oh, we're getting McDonald's. And it's like, I need to be at the airport. I mean, I was barely made the flight. I almost missed my flight back home that first time I was in China. And that was Beijing back to Chicago. And then for a few flights I went I took like Chicago. I think the next time I went it was like Chicago to Seattle to Shanghai, I think. Or no, Seattle to Seoul, and then to Shanghai, or to Beijing. Yeah, something like that. Because I flew Astana, not what is it? Asiana. Those were nice. That was back when Asiana was like the cheapest flights I could find. But I think it was also because there were multi-stops. And then later on I started just wanting non-stop. And if you want non-stop, Asiana is not your cheapest option. Because they're really nice. I think they're a really nice airline. But yes. Those have been my flight. Basically my flights have just been to China and back. Besides that one domestic flight, round trip. Hate it when I hit that wrong key. It resets the camera rotation speed. Alright, I'm going to make a fix here. We're going to go Amcook, that's our last waypoint. Go to fix info. My reference is going to be dip hop. And I want to get down to 15,000 feet. I'm going to use my calculator. Right here. And our target is 15,000 feet. It's the start of the STAR, the Standard Terminal Approach. 75 miles before target. So we'll put in 75. And I think that's all we gotta do. I don't hit enter or anything. Alright, so that's where our top of descent is gonna be. We're actually almost there. But that's why I put that in. Go to performance. Actually, let me grab here. ATSU, AOC menu. Do our weather request. Make sure we have uniform, echo, echo. That's the most important one. This is our alternate. Get things prepared for our arrival. We do have a company message. We received messages. There's a MEDAR. And we'll print that out. Put our performance. And we got to go to the approach phase. We're putting in uniform, echo, echo. And look for the Q and H. So Q1022. Temperature is 1 with a dew point of -1. Winds are 290 at 5 meters per second. So I'm not exactly sure. 5 meters per second. So I'm going to go on. Great website you can go on if you don't want to do it this way. If you want to cheat a little bit, is medar-taf.com. And that will actually decode all of this for you if you're not sure how that all works. Why are we not? Okay, I guess I can't search for Moscow Airport because they've okay. Really weird. Like there are no I can't see the metadata for any Russian airports. Except for Kurumok International Airport, uniform whiskey whiskey whiskey. It's the only one I can see information for. So I guess everything else doesn't have metadata or has been shut down because, you know. So that doesn't help me at all.
In a few moments, we'll be starting our in-flight service. We will be serving complimentary drinks and snacks. Please look in your seat back for our list.
Oh, you were. That's why you said station. You were going from Anchorage Station to Halifax. What train sim is that has that much of a that you can sim that far? That far. That's really cool. That's a long train ride. All right. So we've got 290 at 5 meters per second. What is this metadata from? So I'm getting metadata, but I can't find any of this metadata anywhere on the internet. Like everyone's like, no, you can't look at the metadata. Alright. That's amazing. All the metadata sites, like decoder sites, are like, nope, we're not going to decode Moscow's metadata. Even though there is metadata that I can get, but I can't find it anywhere on the internet. So somehow, this is pulling it from VATSIM. Somehow VATSIM has it, but nowhere else. It's so weird. Alright, we'll put in 10 knots. Thank you. Yeah, I figured it was not 5, but I'm not sure what the conversion is. I guess I could look that up. Railworks. That one out. I've heard of it. Or maybe not. Thought it was something. Yeah, it's just amazing. Like, trying to figure out which train simulator to get, because like there's all these different train simulators, and then it's sort of like flight simulators where it's like which flight simulator should I get, which flight simulator should I spend $1,000 on DLC. Because you don't need to spend. I see people always complaining, it's like, I can't believe I have to spend $1,000 to get the full game. It's like, no, you don't need to. You can pick your routes with train simulators. Train simulators are a little bit different because they actually need to have your routes built, whereas Flight Simulator, you don't need DLC for different routes. That's the great thing, is that, you know, it's for the plane or the airport. Railworks is another name for train simulator. For like train simulator, actually just train simulator, or is it? The same game? No, can't be the same. Uh-oh.
Moscow Center Airflow 1A31 is type Airbus A20 entry 5 miles south of Uniform
I
Alpha,
didn't really
November,
want a
November,
flight following.
level 390. Request flight following.
Rozia 6201, please expedite your descent, flight level 350. Aeroflow 2318, please expedite your descent, flight level 320.
I like how you call in and they're like, yeah, but I can talk to you.
Moscow Center. Squad 314. Aeroflow 2105, please expedite your descent, flight level 290.
Squawk 3143 Airfloat 1A31.
Aeroflow 2462, you are 3,000 feet above your assigned altitude. Descend and maintain flight level 360. Aeroflow 1A31 radar, contact 36 miles south of Uniform Alpha, November, November, flight level 390. Aeroflow 2318, please expedite your descent, flight level 320.
Roger Airfloat 1A31. Moscow Center Airflow 18313 6 miles south of Uniform Alpha, November, November, request IFR to Sheremetyevo, ready to copy.
Aeroflow 2105, please expedite your descent, flight level 290. Aeroflow 1A31 is cleared to Sheremetyevo Airport as
Oh, thanks for...
Squad 314.
Hey, Andy. Andy IV, thank you for helping out with that
Airflow
meters per second.
1A31 cleared to Sheremetyevo Airport.
And thanks for joining in.
Squawk 3143.
Yes, this is World Tour Flight 120, flying into every country via real commercial flights. So far they've been real commercial passenger flights, but...
085 descent and maintain flight level 260 Airflow 1A31.
Are we descending already?
Aeroflow 2105, please expedite your descent, flight level 290.
I guess. Getting close. Not that close.
Descend and maintain flight level 360, Aeroflow 2462.
Alright, Classic Evil. You have a good night. Thank you. Thanks for coming in. Yeah, what was I thinking? Yeah, we're on World Tour Flight 120, flying into every country and territory in the world via real commercial flights, and on the right plane as much as possible, which is not most of the time. Most of the time we're substituting the A320 for the Embraer or for the Boeing 737 or whatever.
Please expedite your descent, flight level 260.
It's going to be a little bit different. I'm hoping once we get to the Caribbean, because a lot of those flights are going to be on smaller planes. We'll definitely be able to do it with... Some of them are actually flown in like the Cessna Caravan 208, so we'll be able to do those. But there's a lot of ATRs, some of those DHC-6s, which are the Twin Otters. So I might have to buy the Twin Otter for that. And I actually have one flight scheduled, I think from Venezuela to Trinidad and Tobago. And this is far out, but I have it scheduled for, it's going to be a cargo flight because it's the only flight between those two places. I thought there was a passenger flight, but it ended up only being a DHL cargo flight. I think it's on the 757, which I currently don't have. But there is a 767 freeware in the work right now, which I'm going to be trying out tonight just to see how it looks, how it flies. Yeah, it depends on the Embraer, it depends on the flight, depends on... yeah, I'll bounce between... CRJ will bounce in there. You know, most of my... if it's an ATR flight, and it all depends on the livery too. If I can find a livery for the CRJ or whichever plane I can use. So it's not a strict thing. I mean, there's a little bit more... Thank you for the follow, Elisa KZ. Thank you very much. It depends on what I can do with livery. There's a little bit more flexibility here in Flight Simulator than I did when I was in X-Plane. X-Plane, I basically exclusively... Not basically, exclusively for the 80 flights I did on my world tour in X-Plane, from New Zealand all the way over to Egypt, it was 737 all the time. It was the Boeing 737 with the Zibo mod, because it was the only one I could, fly. It was the only plane I knew how to fly. It was the best plane in the game that worked the best. And it's sort of like the same thing here where I fly the Airbus most of the time, but I do have the CRJs. So I try to fly those whenever I can. Hello, Elisa KZ. Hello, Soy of Costa Rica. Yeah, I was just talking about that earlier, planning out all my flights. Planning all my flights out for Central America and the Caribbean, which are going to be we're still a long way from those. Probably 50, 60 flights until we get, 50 flights until we get over there. Out of Europe and over to the Americas. But yeah, I was having a hard time just trying to figure out how can I fly to all the countries, but not have to fly, you know, have to do a trip to one country and then back to that country and then back again. But kind of just doing point to point to point. I think I did a pretty good job. So. No, I'm flying into every country in the world. So, I point to point to every country in the world. So, like, for example, this flight we're doing Belarus to Russia. Last flight we did Russia to Belarus. The reason I'm going, this is one of those situations where I don't have a lot of options. Like Belarus, there's not a lot of flights going where I wanted to. So I ended up flying from Russia to Belarus, and then I'm going back to where I've already been. So Russia I've already checked off the list, but we're going back there to set up to fly to Latvia. But then from Latvia I'm going down to Hungary, and then from Hungary we're going to go to Germany, and then Germany... Let's see, I got my whole list right here, let's see. Yeah, we're going Germany. So tomorrow we'll be flying from Latvia down to Hungary. And then Hungary down to... Budapest over to Frankfurt. And then next Sunday we'll do Frankfurt down to Kosovo. And then from Kosovo we'll be flying back to Switzerland. Now I've flown to Switzerland already before, but just again to set up, it just depends on where the real life flights go. Trying to do it. But not flying a general direction, besides flying west. I am going through the world west, in a sense. So from Europe we're going to be going over to the Americas, not to Asia, because I started doing this kind of world tour thing back in X-Plane, and I started in New Zealand, did all the island hopping in the Pacific, worked my way through Asia, west to Europe, or west to the Middle East, and then I went down into Africa and got to Egypt, and that's where I stopped doing X-Plane. That's when Flight Simulator came out. Jumped over to Flight Simulator, and yeah, Frankfurt is modeled really well in Premium Deluxe. I also have some freeware that has modeled it even better, has added some really cool stuff like Lufthansa logos and whatever else, lighting. So yeah, Frankfurt's looks pretty good. That's amazing thing. The amazing thing on this world tour is running into all the awesome, just amazing freeware airports that are available out there. Which is why I always get a little grumpy when some of the creators or some people are like, oh, well, why would you want a freeware? There's a payware out. There's a payware airport for this airport coming out. Let's get rid of this freeware one. Like, no way. I'd rather, give me a free one. I don't need all the bells. I mean, like I said, there are some freeware airports that have almost all the bells and whistles, and it's like, why would I pay? If I can get that for free, why would I pay? Right? If a creator's willing to put it out there for that. I feel like we're losing. Again, the outside, the satellite imagery looks really crappy for some reason. Doesn't it? Did I lose my data or something? Usually gives me a message telling me I lost my data. Yeah, but it's gonna be fun. Yeah, I've flown out of Frankfurt. I did that New Year's Eve. I did a shared flight with a real Lufthansa first officer. And we flew out of Frankfurt and flew down to Lisbon, Portugal, where I had just flown into on the world tour. So I thought Lisbon looked really cool, and then that city and everything. Yeah, but I'm flying to every country, so I'm not just flying to wherever is interesting. I'm flying wherever the flights allow me, and I'm also trying to tick off certain countries. Yeah, why is it not loading in my... Why's the photogrammetry? Go here for a second. Just make sure the data's on. Data's on. Oh. I hate doing that. I hate pausing and going to that menu, but I don't know what's going on with the satellite imagery. It's going to X-plane levels. See the moon over there? Yeah, so coming up tomorrow, the next flight tonight, we're going to be going from Moscow up to Riga, Latvia. And then from Latvia, tomorrow's stream, we'll be going Riga, Latvia, down to Budapest, Hungary, then Budapest, Hungary, over to Frankfurt, Germany. And I do real-life flights. I try to, and I switch airlines, so it's not just one airline. So right now we're flying on Aeroflot. Because I like to look at all the different liveries and fly with all the different liveries, see the different safety videos. Like at the beginning of the flight, I'll play the safety video, if I can find one on YouTube. Otherwise, it might just be the audio. Well, I think this area does have high-res data. That's the thing. It's like it was in, and then it's like loading out. It's downgrading because of, usually what will happen is I'll get a message saying my bandwidth isn't enough or something for some reason. But right now I'm not. So I don't know. Yeah, there are some areas that don't look as good, but not this area. Russia's pretty well defined usually. I didn't have this problem going the other direction when we flew over to Belarus. Fun fact, the flag of Belarus is the Belarusian Soviet Socialist Republic flag without the hammer and sickle. Yep. Yes, it is. Yeah, that's all they removed from it. They just removed the hammer and sickle. And yes, I am flying. I have flown to some disputed areas. Basically, I'm flying to every area. I have a map. I have a map for Illustrator that I'm using to keep track of my flights. So I'm flying into every country that is labeled on that map, but also flying to every country that is considered a country or territory to check off the traveling the world achievement on Volanta. They just put red patches over it. And so I've flown in Somaliland, which is obviously disputed in Somalia, Western Sahara, which I got a lot of flack for. People are saying it's like, that's part of Morocco, it's not its own thing, and I'm like, well, it's considered its own thing in Volanta, so that's why I flew there. For some reason, Northern Cyprus isn't. And I do remember flying to Northern Cyprus when I did my X-Plane part of my world tour before. But I didn't fly it this time, so it was kind of weird. I'll have to check, maybe it is. Volanta actually considers, like, has Palestine as a separate area, so I'll have to figure that. Palestine I'm probably gonna come back to Syria, like, because I don't have a flight going to Syria, and now that I've planned my flights, I realized I didn't end up going back over there, so Syria and Palestine will probably be the very tail end of this whole world tour. Once we get all the way back around the world, we'll go to Syria, and we'll do a flight to Yemen, which I haven't done yet, and we'll do Palestine. Kind of hard figuring out where to fly into Palestine, though, because, airport-wise. Too low terrain, pull up. No, we're doing fine.
Aeroflow 2105, please expedite your climb flight level 270.
What is going on?
Aeroflow 1831, please expedite your descent 14,000 feet.
I am at 14,000 feet. This is, again, an example of they don't understand how a transition works. I guess we'll put in our ground QNH right now, so that ATC doesn't get confused. Because in-game ATC thinks the whole world is the United States. Should have the seatbelt signs on since we were on descent. Yeah, but we're going to be spending the next. Let's see, how many flights do I have? Let's see. We will be leaving Europe on flight 164, so that's how long. We have another 44 flights before we are leaving Europe. And that seems like a lot. And there are quite a few repeat countries in there just because trying to get to places like Åland and Svalbard and Iceland and Greenland, I kind of fly to Greenland and then fly back to Iceland. Iceland to the Faroe Islands, the Faroe Islands back to Iceland, and so... Yeah, they try to kill me all the time. If they don't tell me which runway to take, I mean, the biggest issue for me is they don't give you your approach until about 500 feet above the ground. It's like, I need to know my approach so I can do the approach. They don't tell you until you're almost on final. It's insane. Yeah, I kind of use them for I kind of use them for telling me when to descend and stuff, and like for example here, they're telling me to go on 13,000. If I look at my chart, bring up the chart for you guys. Bring up the star chart here. We can only go down to 15,000. I don't know why we're at 14,000 already. The plane should be restricting us. It's actually cleared us. I guess they popped. So we can only get down to 14,000 by Lasra. 13,000 at Dasla is our ceiling. I will put 13,000 in. But I can't go below 14,000 right now. The plane probably won't even... Oh, look at this. They actually... Look how... They gave me my approach. 59 miles out. Usually they wait until like 2 miles out. Wow, they want us to descend all the way already. So they've cleared us all the way down. So I guess I could just put that in. I think the plane should restrict me. It should. That doesn't always. Alright, so ILS runway 24 left.
1831 runway in sight.
Kesvu transition. I have that in already. So we're just gonna follow our altitudes. We do need to get to 270 knots. We're actually speeding right now.
1.5 airfloat 1831.
Airflow 2105, please expedite your climb flight level 270. Airbridge cargo 681 heavy, please expedite your climb flight level 240.
Oh, Lazara, the ceiling is 14,000. Yeah, so there. Oh, because I didn't have it on. Well, I had it on. I had it on managed descent to 14,000, and it went past the 15,000 for depop. So I don't know what happened there. I wonder if the speed will it do the speed also? Yeah, but see, it's not doing the speed restriction for some reason. The problem is if there's one speed restriction not in here, they'll go back up to whatever speed before. Jules, fun fact: the Russian flag was the civil banner of the Russian Empire, but now is the state flag of the Russian Federation. Yeah, I think that was. Yeah, like I said, it's got the restriction though, so it should do it. But what happens if it does? If one of these waypoints doesn't have it, it'll go down to 250 and then it'll jump back up. Or if it's well, that's a good reason to just do it manually. Alright, we'll go down to 250. Time to sing the slat and flap rap. Okay, the slat and flap rap. Alright, what's my minimum here? Minimum, I'm going to do 721 feet. We'll do a cat. So if I'm not mistaken, the categories for ILS goes, Cat 1 would be like terrible conditions, Cat 2, Cat 3 are better. It goes, the better conditions are a lower category, right? Because the minimum for Cat 2 is 721, minimum for Cat 1 is 821, right? That makes, I would think your minimum would be higher the worse the weather is. Oh. So they let you have a minimum, I guess they let you have the minimum lower because, yeah. I don't know why I thought the other way. Okay, so I've been doing it right. I've always been going with Cat 1. That makes sense. Why would your minimum be higher, though? You have to make your decision in good conditions. You have to make a decision earlier? That's weird. I mean, I guess you'll be able to see earlier, but... yeah, I don't know.
Descend and maintain 1,900 feet. Expect ILS runway 24 right approach via Kesbu transition clear to Kesbu airflow 210.
Alright, so now plane's gonna go down to, should go down to 9,000, or below 9,000. It's going to lock off at 7,000 is our minimum. Lowest we can go. And speed will be 250. Oh, okay. That makes sense.
We have begun our final descent into Sheremetyevo. Flight attendants will be passing through the cabin to select any craft one final turn. Please ensure your enclosed are in a full upright position. Please also store any carry-on items either in the back pocket or under the
tower on 118.7 airflow 2105. Climb and maintain flight level 290 Siberian Airlines 1008. Siberian Airlines 1008 climb.
That's a new sound. I haven't heard this sound before on the descent.
It's
kinda high hum or whatever.
Airbridge Cargo 681 Heavy, please expedite your climb flight level 240.
Alright, so off to our right, that is actually Moscow. It's gonna be over there. These are probably the outskirts, I would guess. The far outskirts. We're gonna be landing on the north side of Moscow. We took off our flight to Belarus, and when we came from Moldova, we landed at Domodedovo on the south side of Moscow. I use Barrow. I believe Barrow is the... Barrow would be your, like, is the bold number on the chart, and then the number in parentheses is the radio, I think? Which is like the actual height above the ground. So like when we're at 720 feet, we're actually, or our minimum is 200 feet above the ground. So it's 821 in, for the, you know, sea level, right? Elevation. Altitude, whatever you call it, but it's 200 feet above the ground. I think radio goes by feet above the ground. So I usually just go with, I don't know if there, yeah, I'm sure you're supposed to use one or the other. Hey, Uric, welcome in. Andy, that's right, the Barrow minimum is the first number, also known as the minimum decision altitude. Oh, okay, so Cat 2 or 3. Well, today we're doing Cat 1 because it should be clear unless there's a big giant cloud over the airport. Jules only wears frocks and other feminine attire. Mine is jeans, and I have a traditional Latvian outfit. Plus, my bedroom has the flags of Latvia, America, California, and Riga. Cool. That's cool. You have a traditional Latvian outfit. That's cool. Well, I have a traditional Chinese wedding outfit, which I look ridiculous in, I think. I look ridiculous in everything, though. This weird look. I just look ridiculous, I think, in everything. My wife looks really, I mean, she looks really good in her traditional Chinese clothes. But she looks good in everything, though. Creepy Kirk's predicting negative 169 feet per minute. Ugh. Ayo, that's... too much pressure, I don't know. I haven't gotten sub 200 in forever. I think the last flight though, we did get into 200s finally. For the first time in a while. Alright, we're gonna get descending more. There's a certain point where we need to... Alright, so Kesvu, we need to be at 220 knots. We can do a hold there if we would need to. We don't need to do... Well, obviously they would... Sometimes we'd be told to hold there. What airport is this?
Finnair 715 climb and maintain 7,100 feet.
That's Klin Air Base. That's gonna be, I'm guessing that's Klin down there. The city we're seeing.
Finnair 715, you are 56 miles west. Maintain present heading and altitude. Expect ILS runway 24 right approach via Kesbuk transition. Cleared to Kesbuk. Siberian Airlines 1011 climb and maintain flight level 180. Finnair 715 airport is at your 5 o'clock 57 miles. Maintain present heading and altitude. Report runway in sight. Siberian Airlines 3571 climb and maintain flight level 180. climb and maintain flight
I keep forgetting to turn my landing lights on lately.
1011. Siberian Airlines 1011 climb and maintain flight level 240.
Alright, spoilers aren't. I can do medium. I always end up doing medium auto brake. I think. Yeah, I have a calculator. There is a calculator here that you could figure that out. I'm not going to throw that all in now, but it will tell you. I probably don't need medium. Medium is usually actually overkill, unless I forget to. Well, if I forget to turn my auto brake on. I found that actually, at least for now, maybe it's changed. Maybe A310NX they fixed it, but lately when I've been using the auto brake, I don't even need to use the reversers. Well, there is a checklist. There's a good checklist for the fly-by-wire. It does get a little weird on the landing though, because, well, let's see, standard, or let's see, descent. So descent, we put in our FCU altitude, set and push, which we did. Seatbelt sign on, anti-ice off, barometric reference set. When lower than 10,000 feet, landing lights on. There you go. So there are a few of them. This one I think I got on flightsim.to. It just says normal checklist fly-by-wire A320neo. Oh, okay, I was gonna say. It is funny, like the checklist, like just the regular checklist that they have, like the real checklist they have on planes, don't actually check off a lot of stuff. It's really weird. I know when I do like the checklist for the CRJ, or when I do awesome. That's awesome, creepy. Yeah. I have to check that out. See what I all have. I have so much stuff just scattered around. Alright, so once we get to 230, we can go flaps 1. Performance, our approach speed is going to be 129. We are going to go full flaps. There's flaps 1. It's always interesting, flaps 1, it's like, what does it do? Does it extend? Oh, it extends those, okay. I've always done like flaps 1, and I'm like, what is it doing? Extends that little front flap thing right there. Should get the drone where I want it. That little guy right in front. What is... I don't know. Oh, that's... yeah, for Chicago to Beijing. 12, 13 hours, depending on the winds and the speed that pilots decide to go. No, we don't fly over, well, not like over the North Pole, but we do fly up into the, we get pretty close, I think we get up into the Arctic Circle. We definitely fly over Alaska and Siberia. We go up, yeah, you basically go up to, kind of go up above Alaska and then come right down again.
Moscow
Is that a real life flight? Sydney to Dallas Fort Worth? Yeah, longest flight I've ever done. Well, I did a flight London to Hong Kong, and then I did a flight London to Tokyo, and then I did a Hong Kong to Cologne, Germany. Those are my 2 longest flights I've ever done in simulator. We're gonna have some long ones coming up. Iceland, let's see, I've got the time for some of them. Iceland to Montreal, so Iceland to Montreal is gonna be 4.5 hours. Chicago to Mexico City is gonna be 3.5 hours. Mexico City down to Colombia is gonna be almost 4. So I think there's gonna be a number of streams where we're just gonna do one flight, and then maybe we'll do like a shorter one, or we'll do some VFR after if I wanna. Probably just one flight though. I've got a bunch of them in a row where I decided, hey, I just want to do a longer flight. For me, 3-4 hours is a long flight. Actually, down to 200 here. 200 on schedule. Go to flaps 2. Sydney to Dallas is 15-hour flight. Oh, contest. Okay.
Please expedite your climb flight level 210.
Okay, flaps 1. Oh, that was cool. You hear this different sound there. I know it's amazing watching them talk about like the hydraulics and everything. Oh, I'm on flaps. Oh. I guess I went to flaps 1 plus F. That's weird. Oh no.
Aeroflot 1211, you were trace 6 miles east. Climb and maintain 2,500 feet. Expect ILS runway 24 right approach.
You're not talking to me, are you?
Cleared to Cat Book.
Tell me to climb.
Aeroflot 1211 airport is 35 miles at your 12 o'clock.
Yeah, I need to give the heavy. I mean, I always seem to have issues with the heavy division and salty for the 747, but I do want to fly those. Like I just downloaded a 767 that's being worked on. It's only being worked on by one guy, so I don't know how good it's going to be, but I'm hoping. Looks like he wants to put in the effort. He's not just throwing something out there for no reason, but it's very early on. Really looking forward to FlyByWire's A380. That'll be fun to do some flights on. Obviously, the FlyByWire A32NX works perfectly for what I'm doing. Most of the flights I do tend to be in the the real-life flights are in A320s, or an A319 or a 321, or it's in a Boeing 737. You know, it's basically in that range, most of the flights I do anyway, so... Yep, I've flown a few A330. I used to fly the A330-300 from Project Megapack a few flights. Obviously, when that went away and then the 900 came out, I've used that a few times. I've had a few issues with it. I haven't tried it lately. Haven't had any reason that I needed it lately either, though. So, but yeah, it's nice to have that in the pocket if it works. Because sometimes that's the only the real life flights in an A330, and it'd be cool to fly it in that. It's interesting. I actually do have a few flights in my the Caribbean one where we have to hop on British Airways, and it's a 777 flight. Now, I'm not going to get the 777 payware because it's, you know, it's not PMDG or something. I'm saving my money for the real good stuff. But I'll probably use the 787 for that flight. You know, and heck, maybe even just jump in a 747. You know, if we're going to be not completely accurate. But those will be interesting. I always find those flights interesting where it's like the big, huge, giant plane and you're doing a 30-minute flight. But it's a staging flight. It's a flight, you know, British Airways is putting on so you can get to these different islands and then on to London.
Siberian Airlines 1008, you are 26 miles northwest. Climb and maintain flight level 270, keep speed
Alright, so 190. Need to be at 180 at the next waypoint.
Cleared to over. Siberian Airlines 1008, climb and maintain 17,000 feet, keep speed not above 220 knots. Siberian Airlines 1008, climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Keep speed not above 220 knots. Climb and maintain 5,000 feet. Keep speed not above 220 knots. Expect ILS runway 32 left approach by over transition clear to over Siberian Airlines 1008.
Yep, I'll have to check that out. I'll have to check their Discord. Definitely. Alright, so we're going to be flying over. This is the Yuchensko Reservoir. Frozen over. And off to the right is the Pestovsko Reservoir. Further up there. Pestovko, and then this is the... What did I say this was? Yuchensko Reservoir. And the Pyalovskoy Reservoir right in front of that. So all these are just little reservoirs. All frozen over. Yeah, it's a crazy, weird little approach here.
Aeroflot 1321 runway in sight. Aeroflot 1321, you are 43 miles north of Sheremetyevo. Contact Sheremetyevo Tower on 119.3 inbound on the approach.
The airport's gotta be over there, I would think, right?
Siberian
Oh, it's right
Airlines
there.
1008, please expedite your climb 5,000 feet. Tower on 119.3, Airfloat 1321.
Okay, we're gonna hit the approach since we are on the final. I think that's not it right there, is it? I think we'll start slowing to 160. I guess that's the airport right there. Moscow off in the distance, I think. At least some buildings.
Siberian Airlines 1008, please expedite your climb 5,000 feet.
Actually, that's going to be Moscow on our right, over there. No, Moscow is on our left. What am I thinking?
Siberian
That's a
Airlines
Zelenograd on our
1008,
right.
please expedite your climb 5,000 feet.
Alright, so our approach speed 132.
Siberian Airlines 1008, please expedite your climb 5,000 feet.
1,000. $500.
Siberian Airlines 1008,
400.
please expedite your climb 5,000 feet.
300.
Moscow Center Aeroflot 1787, 1,700 feet.
200.
1787 Moscow Center QNH.
You'd think they would plow the runway.
Continuous planned.
100. 50. 40. 30. 20. Retard. 10. 5.
Oh, there you go, Creepy Kirk. I went below your... I kind of floated it a little bit there, I think.
Airlines 1008, please expedite your climb 5,000 feet.
Where's the exit?
AG and 881 climb and maintain 2,100 feet.
Take the high-speed one, even though they're not really high speed.
Aeroflot 1787,
gentlemen,
you are
welcome to
1,100 feet below your
Started drifting there. Floated a little bit. What is that off in the distance? That's pretty cool.
Celsius. You can now use your mobile devices. Please remain seated until the aircraft comes to a complete stop and the seatbelt sign is turned off. Remember to use caution when opening the overhead bin.
Climb and maintain 1,000.
Yeah, the G is 1. I've never seen one where it's just a perfect 1G landing. Alright, we're gonna stop here, just get all of our lights and everything. Get our APU started. Turn off the TCAS.
Siberian Airlines 1008,
Radar,
please
predicts
expedite
wind
your
shear.
climb 5,000 feet.
All that fun stuff. And get our parking. Anyone at all. Can't I? Okay. Do this. You can do it manually, I think.
Sharon and Avo Ground Aeroflot 1831 request taxi to the gate. Aeroflot 1831 taxi to gate 102 via taxiway Alpha 4 Sierra 4. Taxiing to gate 102 using taxiway Alpha 4 Sierra 4 Aeroflot 1831.
Where am I going? What was it? Alpha 4 Sierra 4? Get my map here. We're at Alpha 4, I think, so need to find the parking. 0. Bill Senior 100, I'm completely new at Flight Sim. I learned a lot just watching and listening to you. Thank you for verbalizing most everything you do. Appreciate it. Well, stick around and we'll do another flight here up to Latvia. Probably be about a 15-20 minute intermission, though. You'll get to watch it start up again. Right, it'd be very cool if I could see. Okay. If they would plow the taxiways here. Alright, we're just gonna go in here somewhere. For some reason the signs aren't showing what they need to show. Let's use the tiller. I'll make it a little easier to turn. I think I must have downloaded a upgrade for this airport. Pretty good. I think we'll go to this gate. Stick next to our Aeroflot buddies. I try to do things the right way. I've been told I don't all the time, but don't think any of us completely do all the time. I have no idea where the stop line is here. Alright. Parking brake is set. APU can start. Turn off our taxi and runway turnoff lights. Reconnect the external power. We don't really need the APU. Hey, thanks for the follow, Bill Sr. Thank you very much. Very much appreciated. Really is. Alright, APU should be available eventually. I don't know if I really need it. Oh, okay, the sound must be because I have the jetway. That extra sound. Maybe the door is open or something. Cargo door, all that stuff is open. FlyByWire A32NX is always adding more and more stuff, so sometimes I have no idea what's going on because so much is happening that I'm not used to. Alright, APU available. We'll just turn that on just in case. And we will turn off our master switches for the engines. The engines will come down. And the Aeroflot boarding music will play while the passengers start to board. We do have our external power on, so we'll turn off the APU. Turn off the strobe light, beacon light. Pure oxygen supply. Turn off our gears. Fuel pumps. Yeah. I've been connected to external power sometimes, and I'll turn off the APU and everything will shut down still, so. Well, there you go. If you need a checklist, there's a checklist right there as well. Fortunately. They need to make that, for the A319. Come on, guys. Come on, FlyByWire. Alright, passengers are coming off. Go out here. What's part of the livery? Oh, it might be. Yeah, that could be. That could be. We'll have to see next. We'll have to see the next flight and see if those are there. All right, I'm gonna pull open. Right now, I'm gonna pull open Volanta. Do an overview of the flight. All right, here's Volanta. Chat out of my way. Oh, I was like, I didn't fly an A330. That was John's flight. Alright, view our flight. Yeah, it was a very interesting flight plan. But that was actually, everything went perfectly. The plane followed everything perfectly today. This is just the way the flight plan was. It wasn't because of weird stuff. So stats, landing rate 127.81. G-force, a solid 1 right there. Landing speed 121. Yeah, we floated a little bit, but I guess it's okay. I think this is where I landed. You can see we kind of landed a little bit further down. Kind of want to get right around there. But just being a little bit nitpicky. Sim Toolkit Pro has like a whole little landing thing that shows you. I actually have another runway over there. Pretty cool. Alright. Yeah. Get rid of that. And bring up my world tour map. Just for anyone who's new, you can see where we've flown. We've already flown into Russia, so we're not going to be going anywhere new here, but just to show it off where we've been. So that's where we've flown so far. Every country in the world we've flown into so far. All of Africa. We're currently doing Europe. Obviously, just did Russia, and we're going to be flying up next up to Latvia right here. So not a terribly long flight there, but we'll do Latvia, and then tomorrow we'll be going Latvia down to Hungary, and then over to Germany. We're getting closer. Once this world tour is over, can you please fly from Manchester to Riga as Air Baltic? Yeah, sure. It's gonna be a while before the world tour is over, though, so. I'll do that. Alright, passengers are deboarding. Let's see if I can show you. Okay, I can show you Pack X, what's going on right now. Pack X, put it right here. Actually, everyone's being deboarded. Got our localized names. Really cool thing that comes with Pack X. I really like self-loading cargo more, but I do like Pack X since it actually is working very well with Flight Simulator right now. And the localized names are, I love them. I love the localized names. Takeoff Cruise, how can I install the full flight A320neo? The full flight A320neo. Full flight. I don't know what the full flight A320neo is. There's the FlyByWire A32NX. And then there's the Phoenix one that they're coming out with, which is the CO, which is the current engine option. Alright, so very slightly ahead of schedule on the soft landing. Those are our notable events. Comments, definitely be recommending you at work. Totally telling my friends about this airline, and there's nothing better than a few mid-flight tricks. Save that, and we'll move this over here for now. Alright, so if you're watching on YouTube, I will be ending this stream, and then we'll start another stream for the next flight. If you're on Twitch, we'll go to intermission, so stick around while I set up for the next flight, where we'll be flying from Moscow over to Riga, Latvia. Let's see. I'll answer a few more questions here before we do that. What's my son's forename? Elishua, that's his name, Elishua. How can I install the full flight? I mean, fully equipped. Well, with Microsoft Flight Simulator, you have the Azobo A320. But I would recommend getting the FlyByWire A32NX mod, and I think you get it from. Let me just double check. Yeah, FlyByWire. So it's FlyByWire. I'll just put it in here. FlyByWire sim.com. That's where you can get it. That's their website. Go to the installer. There's an You'll get an installer, you'll point it to your directory wherever you put your mods, and you then pick the version you want. I would recommend getting the development version because you're going to get the most stuff, and it's also probably the most stable because it updates almost every day. So when you are flying with this, you're going to want to check your installer almost every day and make sure if there's an update, just do a quick update. And then you will need to make sure you get liveries that are made for the A32NX. There is a livery converter built in, so if you do put just a basic A320 livery into your folder, the A32NX installer will recognize it and go, hey, you need to do a conversion, and you can convert it right there. But it's very easy. It's just, get the installer, and then it's just like point where you want it installed, and there you go. And you'll have it, and you'll actually have a separate plane. It's actually a completely separate plane now from the in-game Zobo Airbus A320. Sean, I don't know why the A330 is trying to take off on you, Flare. When you're about to land, are you turning off autopilot? And especially in the A330, because if you're using the A330, it does use the FlyByWire A32NX stuff, cockpit, but I don't think auto land and that stuff works. So don't try to auto land in the A330. You're going to need to manually do it. You're going to need to about 500, I would say about 500 feet. Once you hit your minimums, turn off your autopilot, turn off your auto thrust, make sure your throttle is in a good position so you're not suddenly speeding up. And you're going to need to do your own throttle and pull back on your throttle gradually, and you're going to need to, you know, land your plane. So if you have too much, if you pull back for your flare and you have too much throttle, or again, you have autopilot still on, yeah, the A330 is going to probably try to take off because it's on auto throttle. It's not thinking about landing because it doesn't have auto land. So I would suggest manually landing it. Like, take it in, bring it in ILS as close to the ground as you want to go. I'd say 500, 500 feet, or 500, your elevation 500. I don't know. You got to find that spot where it is, but you want to, turn off your autopilot and everything at a place where you can make sure that you're ready to take over and stabilize and have control of the plane. It's not at the very last second and suddenly everything's out of whack. But yeah, I've had that happen where the plane wants to keep going. Yeah, you just need to, you're going to need to manually land it and get it down on the ground. And again, if you have autopilot on, it's going to want to keep going because it's not understanding that you're trying to land at a certain point once it passes that minimum. Jules, in Russia, Elishua, full name in Russian be Elishua Martinovich Wenzel, and Martinovich means son of Martin. Alright. Okay. Well, thank you for chatting. So Sean, Andy, Jules, I hope you see you. Jacobo. Jacobo, please hit the subscribe button, all that stuff. I'm gonna be ending the stream on YouTube just because I like to have separate contained videos for each flight for you guys, or for people to go back and watch. They're not watching a whole live stream. So I'm gonna end the stream on YouTube. If you're on Twitch, it will keep going. We'll just go to intermission. On YouTube, just keep an eye out. About 10, 15, 20 minutes, the next stream will start up, and please join in and everything. All right. We will be flying here, Moscow to Latvia, in about 10, 15 minutes, hopefully. All right. So thanks for watching, and everyone on YouTube, I will see you soon, and on Twitch, we will go to intermission.